What's cracking, party people? It's your girl Nicole Banister, aka NIKKI BANZ, coming to you live from LAX, Los Angeles International Airport. Today is Tuesday, so you already know I'm back for this week's episode of NIKKI BANZ Live. Yo, I gotta go ahead and say that this might be one of the dopest locations I have ever recorded this show live. Ever in life. And I don't normally do this, but I want to take the camera off of like the whole ring light stand just to show you my setup, because this is actually pretty incredible. So I'm here, I'm literally at the airport. There are planes and things in the background going by. Okay, let me just flip the camera real quick. I am literally here just waiting at LAX. I tried to find a quieter-ish part of the airport so that you all could hear me, you all could see me, and there wouldn't be too much background noise. But it don't matter where in the world your girl NIKKI BANZ is. I go live from anywhere. And I literally, like, if you had told me a year ago that I would have a ring light set up at the airport filming a show live, I would have told you that you have serious jokes. So an absolute pleasure to be here with you all. Hello, hello, hello. It's your girl Nicole Banister, aka NIKKI BANZ. I do this every single Tuesday. It doesn't matter where in the world I am. It doesn't matter if I am in Nairobi, Kenya, filming from my homegirl's living room. It doesn't matter if I am in Cape Town, South Africa, filming from my apartment. It doesn't matter if I am in Holbox, Mexico, like I was 2 weeks ago, filming with beautiful palm trees in the background, or even in a house in Dubai with a bunch of my colleagues. I'm coming to you live every single Tuesday with different artists, entertainers, content creators, and influencers from across the globe. And I am so excited to introduce you to today's guest. His name is Borderless Belik, and he is an international jet setter, content creator, and soon to be dad. Borderless Belik has an absolutely fascinating story, from breaking Guinness World Records by scootering around the world, okay, to turning into a content creator, and then turning into this amazing international MC and live host. This is gonna be an episode that you don't wanna miss. Like, when you've got my energy as a host coming to you live, and now his energy as a host coming to you live, who knows? Sparks are going to fly with two hosts with the absolute most. So once again, coming to you live from LAX, Los Angeles International Airport. And before I bring on the one and only Borderless Belik and get this interview started, I just have to say that, like, I scheduled my flights absolutely perfectly. I flew from Oakland to LAX this morning. I have a layover here in LAX, which is perfect. It allows me to film the show live from the airport. I fly from LA to Amsterdam, Amsterdam to Cape Town, then I land in Cape Town, and guess what? I go straight to Souk for Wednesday nights with NIKKI BANZ at Souk. So for all of you who are in Cape Town watching, join me tomorrow night, Wednesday night at Souk, for R&B and old school nights with your girl NIKKI BANZ. I will be there fresh from the airport. So I have to say I'm pretty proud of myself for finessing like the most perfect flights in the world so I can do my live show from the airport, land, and still make it to Souk on Wednesday. I'm telling you, hashtag crushing life at the moment. All right, party people. Well, now is the time to bring on my guest. You've listened to me long enough, but I am so excited to introduce you to Belik. He's one of my colleagues at Nas Academy. He hosted the Nas Summit in Dubai that I went to, and I'm just like, it's gonna be an absolutely phenomenal interview. So let's get this party cracking. I have no sound effects for you today because we're at the airport, and you're gonna get all of the natural sound effects from the airport. You're gonna be hearing, you know, flights being called. You're gonna be hearing cleaning happening. You're gonna be hearing all sorts of things. So no sound effects for us today, but it's gonna be all good. Also, one last sidebar before I get started. I was realizing before I did this show, I was like, okay, I'm gonna bring the ring light. I'm gonna bring, you know, everything that I need onto the plane with me so I can actually like film the show live, but I didn't put on any makeup. And normally when I do NIKKI BANZ Live, I've got like some lipstick on, got some, you know, some tinted moisturizer on. I don't have any makeup on whatsoever. And I was like, oh, damn, I came totally unprepared, right? I brought all the technical stuff, but didn't bring anything to like, you know, beat my face. But then I was buying some sparkling water here at the airport, and one of the guys was like, wow, he was like, you look phenomenal. You're absolutely radiating. And I was like, whoa, look at that. There you go. No makeup at all, just big hair, don't care. My plain outfit. This is literally the outfit I wear on every single flight I take ever in life. It's like this little black bandeau and some super flowy, fabulous pants from me and B. And that's just what I do. So once again, greetings from LAX. It's your girl, NIKKI BANZ. If you're not following me on Instagram, @TheyCallMeBanz, And I'm gonna bring on my guest right now. Belik, it's your time to shine. I'm gonna bring you on and let's get this party started. Here we go. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
I'm
Hello,
supplementing.
hello, hello.
I'm supplementing with some sound effects because rumor has it LAX does not have a soundboard.
There is no soundboard in LAX, at least not in this part of LAX where I am at right now. Can you hear me okay, Belik?
I hear you much less good than I did when I wasn't on the call, but it might be because I'm now live, so it kind of like balances. I don't know. We'll find out.
That's so interesting. You know, multiple people have told me that like once I go live with somebody, the sound like decreases. And I'm like, but I've turned the sound all the way up. Who knows? I mean, we gotta call Instagram about that.
Let me call them now. They're not.
Let's call them.
They're in the air. They're in the air, Nikki. We cannot
Yeah.
interrupt. How's it going? I loved your intro. I loved all these little. What do you say? Plain hair. You had all these sentences on fire. It's like, are you coming up with them on the spot? Very good job. Very good job. You must be a professional at this.
Ooh, maybe something like that. Maybe an expert host, just like you, my friend.
Yes, maybe. I need to learn some of those sentences. I need to be fly. I need to be fly.
Hey, you're pretty fly yourself. I have to give it to you. I mean, look at that bucket hat you got going on. Like, look at that.
Listen,
Magic.
this hat serves me two purposes. The first one is that it makes people smile because it has Pokemon, right? So it's and the second one is it doesn't really protect me from the sun. It's kind of like it's not very an efficient kind of hat, but the happiness that it brings to the world when I walk around with it is worthwhile the sunburn on my nose. I'm kind of like, that's the price I gotta pay to make people smile sometimes.
That is literally so funny. But I am here for the bucket hat live. I love that you wear this bucket hat. I love that you take professional pictures with that hat on. Like, it's just this color pop. You know, it brings out your eyes.
I appreciate it. Some people do say that my eyes change from green to blue, which I don't understand how that's physically possible, but maybe it's the hat. Maybe it's the angle. I don't know.
Maybe it is indeed, Belik. Well, I have to say that we are just like so incredibly excited to have you here. This is such a treat. Thank you for coming on the show. Thank you for being with me here today. And I always like to start every single episode of NIKKI BANZ Live by telling the folks who have joined here on IG Live or the people who are tuning in via YouTube how I know the guests who are on my show. And so I know you because we work together at Nas Academy. We are both creators. We have our own free workshops and trainers as well. So we facilitate courses on behalf of other creators. And you were the host with the most of the Nas Summit in Dubai, which is incredible because there was like 700 people there and you were on stage with the microphone just leading all of us. It was incredible.
That was frightening and exhilarating and very meaningful all in one. And, at some stage, I'm going to have to get a charger for my phone because I'm at 20%, but we'll rock it till it drops. So I'm making my daily videos now. I don't know what the order of the interview is so much, but I think we can free ball it and see where the wind takes us. But what I wanted to say was I'm making daily videos now for my unborn child, just to loop it into what has happened during pregnancy. And I think that's one of the coolest gifts that a child could get is memories of its life in a period in which it has no recollection of what happened. And so right now where I am on the timeline of It's Me Dad is literally the 2 days before NAS Summit. Because every day I make a video, but I post them sort of like backlogged. So I have this build up stage of like stories that I have to use. And anyway, it made me think about the one that I did in Dubai before NAS Summit. Nikki, I was anxious. Like, of course, you and I both have hosted events on Zoom in the metaverse with hundreds, if not thousands. And it's extremely exciting, but there's a very different dynamic between the crowd and the host when you see them in person. There's I would say the equality, not the equality, like people being equal happens on Zoom. Everyone has the same size rectangle box. They all are able to speak equally. But when you see it in person, it's like, who's going to say what? Who's actually looking at me? You see people on the phone. It's like, it's this big buildup. So anyway, point is, I was having a lot of different thoughts and emotions, but I kept reminding myself, and the reason why I do these videos for my child is like, what kind of advice would I like to receive, or what kind of advice would my child like to receive from me if they were in my shoes? And then I thought, you know what? I was fucking asked to MC this event because I can do it, and there is no one else that they could find that could do it as good as myself and Matt. So that's kind of like the mindset, and I think it applies to many things in life. If you're asked to do something or you're put in a situation, you're there for a reason. Don't start second guessing why you're there or if you have the potential or not. Do it because you were put there and it's your time to shine. And I think for those 3 days, you were there, Nikki, and I did my best to include you because you're an amazing host, and I wanted you to get some of that, glitter vibes on stage and for people to see because it's well deserving. But the crowd was thriving. I mean, you put yourself out there. When you really put yourself out there, and I think it also speaks about your live sessions. Are they the most professional sessions I've ever seen on live? No. Okay. Are the topics the most interesting all the time? No. But that's totally fine because you are so passionate about this. No one can top you. You could talk about grass. I'm looking at grass right now. You could talk about grass with someone with a lawnmower, and you'd have such a brilliant interview because you really care about hearing people's stories and just sharing it with the world. So that's how I felt in NAS Summit for most of the time when things are going well.
Oh my goodness. Well, you are spot on. And I think like your energy as a host and the way that you're able to navigate different audiences, different crowds, people of different backgrounds, different religions, that truly is a skill. And I think it's something that people don't talk about enough when you are a host, right? As a host, as an MC, having to navigate all these different backgrounds and intersections and things like that, that truly is a skill, whether it's on Zoom or in person, perhaps amplified when it's in person, right? And you did that so well at the NAS Summit. So maybe what I'll ask you first then, Belik, is talk to us about how you got into being a host, being an MC, and being and being live on Zoom. We can talk about your live class that you have at NAS Academy in a moment. But how did you get to this point where you were like, give me a microphone, put me in front of people, and I'll make magic? How did you get to that moment?
That's a good question. Also, I just want to acknowledge all these cool people joining in. We got the Jewish family in the house. We got Kai. We got Kiara. All these people from NAS Summit and content creators. So happy to have you here for as long as you wish to stick around. This is recorded, by the way, I believe, right? So people can watch it after.
Yes, of course.
Nikki, is there a way to watch these things at like time to speed after they've been created?
Ooh, that's such a good question. So they go up onto IGTV and on YouTube afterwards. So if there's a way to move it faster on YouTube or on IGTV, then yes. I don't know if there is, but if there is, then it would be on YouTube or saved on my Instagram.
Okay, that's a cool idea. Just an idea here was to maybe post it on your YouTube, and then people can double speed it if they want to watch the whole thing faster. Just a thought. Anyway, your question was, how did it happen? Look, I believe, I truly believe my goal at the end of the day is to be paid to be myself. And I believe that everyone wants that. Not a lot of people would say that because like, what the heck are you talking about? Like you need to give service of some kind to get money. But if we could all be paid just to be ourselves and do what we love doing, that would be a fucking amazing world. So how does that answer your question? For as long as I've known myself as an adult, I haven't necessarily gone with the flow. And I've been receiving, pushback of like, why don't you get like a real job? And why don't you join the stream? And aren't you worried about your future and your finances and establishing and settling? Nikki, I've been nomading for the past 10 years. I have a little backpack and I find home wherever the people I want to be around are. It doesn't matter what's their religion or language or whatnot. And I've been to over 70 countries. And so when you think about how did I make it to this stage, I believe that I've been true to myself. I love telling stories. I love engaging with people. I love bringing smiles to people's faces. And I love galvanizing people to be riled up about things that they are passionate about or not passionate about yet. So when I joined the NAS Academy, it was because I was very honest. Like truly what happened was I've been following Nas daily for forever, and he's
Okay.
been a source of inspiration, and I've learned a lot from him about making videos, and that inspired me to do my own back in 2019, where I taught myself how to do when I lived in Morocco. I was like, I'm going to start making videos now. So this one night, long story short, one night I was high, and I was in Western Sahara, and I was planning another Guinness World Record, my third, in Iceland on a unicycle. And then I was like, I'm planning so much for the future. What about the present? How do I feel about the present? And am I feeling good about it? And then I was like, holy moly, Nas Daily never feels about the present. He's always about the future. I wonder how he's feeling. So I just sent him a high message. I don't know if this happens to you. Sometimes when I'm high, I'm like, I want to reach out to this person. And I just, not thinking twice, just do it. Wake up in the morning and be like, oh, I sent this person a message. So I sent to Nusayr. I was like, honest question, out of the blue, Nikki. He probably has a bazillion WhatsApp messages that are unread.
Right.
Hey, Nusayr, honest question. Do you feel good about life in present times? And he immediately responded, no. Which I was like, oh, wow. Okay.
Oh.
And then, yeah, so he shared with me like that he's under a lot of stress and that it's never easy, but, you know, he's getting used to being uncomfortable and that's what's necessary. Anyway, good. I went to sleep. I fell asleep very fast, as you can imagine. The next morning I wake up and I get a question from him and it says, do you like education? And I said, love it. What's up? And then we got on a phone, and within 1 week, Nikki, I'm in Western Sahara. He's in Singapore building the NAS Academy with ground zero NAS Academy. He goes, why don't you come to Singapore, teach content creation? He's seen my content. Let's see what happens. Let's give it an honest try. And so, bam, I was in Singapore, and I helped build the NAS Academy. And this is a very long-ended answer to your question, but
give it all to us. We have an hour.
that was literally like another significant step in making my way towards emceeing big events, because I loved speaking in front of people and I love teaching people and I love empowering people. So through content creation, through different skills, through entertainment, whatever it means they are available, I love doing that. And so he recognized that and the team recognized that, and we had to onlinealize ourselves. Because the pandemic hit and there were no offline.
Right.
Did you know that the NAS Academy started as an offline academy?
I had heard that from somebody, but as someone who came on when we were already virtual, I could like barely even fathom that. But someone did tell me that once.
Exactly. So, Nikki, I was literally flown out to teach in person, classes of 20 people. Like that was the idea. And then we would scale. Yeah, then we would scale the academy to new cities, Bombay, LA, London, you know, Cape Town, whatnot. And then the pandemic hit. And then Nusayr was like, okay, Belik, we need to onlinealize the curriculum. It's going to be an online academy. So
wow.
This was during my trial time. Anyway, long story short, Zoom became our home, right?
Wow.
Like everything was on Zoom. And I was forced to become a master on Zoom and use the skills that I have to make it the most engaging, exciting experience possible, which is really hard because both of us could just talk like this now in the entire live call, but we would be left with 0 viewers, and that would be kind of sad. So, you know, you learn how to galvanize your audience, even just through the lens, like looking through the lens and acknowledging that Hamza just made it. Hamza's in that fucking house. Look at that. And Sai and Pavel. I love it. Okay, this is great. So, anyway, almost at the NAS Summit. What was I saying? Okay, so yeah, so Zoom, you know, then I do my course. We'll talk about the course in a moment, but Nusayr, he just asked me, he was like, Belik, would you come and MC the event? Because I know the academy inside out. I know many of the creators. I know a lot of the students and the trainers, and I'm good at what I do. Obviously, I'm good enough to actually lead the show with Matt, who's amazing, who's another one of our colleagues. And so there I was, you know, like, oh my God, 700 people. And you just, Nikki, you do this all the time, sure, but just got to switch on. Like, I'm sure at the airport, 10 minutes before this call, ladies and gentlemen, Nikki was not as chillaxed as she is right now. Let me guarantee that. She is probably, listen, she's probably like this. This is the tripod, right? Holy shit, oh my God, where's this? Silence. I need silence, I need a light, I need this. Where are there people? There's a vacuum machine. Fuck, what am I going to do? Do I have enough Wi-Fi?
Right. Literally, that is exactly how it goes before any big event. Before I go live, before I do anything like this, literally when they started doing construction here in the corner, I was like, oh my God. I was like, no. I was like, we're gonna make this work no matter what. But yes, you have those nerves. I get nerves before you go live, before you host something, even if it's on Zoom, if it's in person. I feel like a little bit of nerves are a good thing. What do you think?
If you're nervous, it means you care.
Thank you.
So even before this call, I was nervous. Not to say that this is not an important call, but comparing this to
Yeah.
hosting an event with 700 people from around the world, this is like me and you on the couch. We're chilling.
Exactly. I interviewed Bozoma St. John again last week, who was, she just got inducted into the Marketing Hall of Fame. She's held C-suite positions at Uber, Endeavor, PepsiCo, iTunes. And I was like, yeah, and even though it was, just a Zoom call, I was sitting there like, okay, do I have everything down pat? Do I know what to do? Do I know what to say? Like, yeah, you get those nerves. And it's because we care. It's because we want to put on a good show. If we're the host, if we're the MC, the entire story, the entire narrative, the entire time that we're here live is dependent on how we are, and we have to bring that to the screen, to the audience.
Well, and you want to make sure that you respect everyone's time, which is something that's easily forgotten when you're online, because you're not in person. You feel that pressure. That person may need to leave. That person has a phone call or a message, but online you have no idea really what's going on. I mean, you and I and others, especially trainers at the Nest Academy like Pavel and Sai, like you can read people's reactions in the middle of a call and you know what they're doing. Sometimes I call them out. Sometimes like, Nikki, did you just answer your WhatsApp message? Or like, did you just yawn? Or did you just get some food? And I get them, they're like, holy shit, he's watching me, which is, it just wakes people up. Like you got to shock people. That's why I teach in the course, the free Zoom workshop. From zero to Zoom Hero, I've launched a course that I have 3 different courses. There's 1 hour or 2 hours or 3 hours with different sort of pay, like the cost of it. And it's with different companies. I would do it for companies or whatnot, just to upskill people to know how to master Zoom, because a lot of people suck online. And I say suck and I really mean it, like cringe after cringe.
They're awful. They're like sad, boring, not entertaining. It's like, it's hard. It's really hard sometimes.
Such a waste of time for so many people when it's not done correctly. And so one of the things that I talk about there is about identifying and reacting to low energy. So essentially the whole course is broken down into 4. The first one is manage Zoom. So understanding the software itself and different tricks and tools that not a lot of people know that really take you to the next level. Then there's manage yourself, right? What do you do in order to prepare? Like, what's your energy like? When do you feel comfortable and confident? And so that's number 2. It's the 4 M's, right? Manage Zoom, manage yourself, manage your audience, which then I jump into. What does Sai say? Yes, true. Typically, Zoom sessions are boring. Correct. Sai. I'll give you a heart. Bam. So then there's manage your audience, which is really important. And the main guideline, Nikki, as you do as well in these live sessions, is that it's never about you. You could be given the microphone, but it should not be about you. It's about those listening. Like Andrea, who's here, who doesn't miss any live, anything really. Andrea has like Hermione Granger's clock. You know how she can be in different spaces at the same time from Harry Potter?
Literally.
Andrea's everywhere all the time. I don't know how she does it.
I've had Zoom calls at like 2 o'clock in the morning in the Philippines, and Andrea is there. And I'm like, girl, do you sleep ever?
She's there. Maybe she has an alibi. Anyway, she shares her account and she gets other people to watch it for her and then send the summary. So the third M is manage your audience. So identifying and reacting to low energy, which is so important. One of those elements is shocking your audience. So remembering people's names is so important, right? Then giving people like surprise tasks. Sometimes, Nikki, I'll be like, yo, Sai, in the middle of a class, and I see someone's dozing off, I'll be like, yo, Sai, give me a vegetable that starts with the letter B. And Sai is freaking out, and the rest of the cohort is freaking out because they're like, oh my God, is he going to do it? Like, does he need help? Private messaging, different vegetables with the letter B. So I talk about those things of like how to identify and react to low energy. And the last one is managing uncomfortable scenarios, which I think you do so well as well. When a lot of people, you could be great at speaking to people. You could be great at understanding Zoom. But if you don't know how to tackle and be quick on your feet to different
Right.
scenarios, different words, different statements, different actions, then the whole Zoom call could be extremely uncomfortable and just go mayhay. Mayhay is the word? Hey, May?
May,
May?
haywire?
Haywire. Thank you. You complete me. Haywire in a moment. So that's what I talk about in the class. By the way, I have that class in, I think, 2 weeks.
Yes.
So anyone who's watching now or in the future, just go NAS Academy Belik in the search bar, or NAS Academy Belik. And you can join that course for free. And if you love it, then I'll do sessions for your company and for your schools and whatnot. We'll talk about that after. Mayhem Sai. Love it. Okay. So yeah, but I do want to say something
Yes,
about
please.
your sesh with Bose. And I want to say to all the audience that is ever going to watch this video, this live session, that was one of the most exciting and inspiring Zoom sessions I've ever attended. Hamza, Melanie, David, anyone that's joining right now. Nikki, you should upload it to Zoom, not to Zoom, to YouTube, and share the link with your followers. It was like going to church, and I'm not Christian, a black church, and seeing the best show in town filled with so many inspirational words from both you, from Bose, from the audience, the students. It was just, I was so pumped after that, and you did an amazing job meeting all the possible intersections time after time and just dropping bombs and letting other people drop their own bombs, all positive stuff. Very good job. Sound effect.
Dun, 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 dun. Belik, thank you, thank you, thank you. And I'm so grateful that you were able to tune in for that live interview with Bose, and I'm so grateful for your kind words. Honestly, I have to say, Bozoma St. John makes it very freaking easy to like be poetic and sound good. Every single word that comes out of that woman's mouth is butter. It is so smooth. Everything she says. So I really just have to like just navigate it, you know, because everything she says is absolutely golden. I was literally, just before I came on the live with you, I was watching Bozoma St. John's you know, one of the acceptance speeches that she gave. She was just recently inducted into the Marketing Hall of Fame. And at this one I was watching, she had just received something called the Pinnacle Award, you know, for her service in her industry and in her career. And like just the whole thing, you know, it's 7 minutes long. And I was like, I can't look away. I can't move away. This is the most incredible thing I've ever heard. So thank you for your kind words. But as a host, and I'm sure you can agree to this, when the person who's on the other side is also a good interviewer and a good talker, then things flow a lot smoother.
It is true. That is true. Like this call, like I don't feel any pressure right now. It's just very casual and nice. But yeah, you did a fantastic job, like super duper. So much so that I would love to, as I told you already, actually work with you to do these kind of more events in the virtual world, more hosting, more engaging, more good vibes. Like the world needs more good vibes, more good stories.
Good vibes only, positive vibes only, great stories from around the world. So for everybody watching this right now here on IG Live, or you're watching the rerun on YouTube, wherever you're watching it, well, first and foremost, follow me at They Call Me Banz. Follow Belik, borderless.belik. If you go to the top of your screen here on IG Live, click the little down arrow in the middle of the screen at the top, click that, and you can go follow me. You can go follow Belik, okay? But also, so follow both of us. But also, if you have events, if you have live things that you need to be hosted, IG Live takeovers, corporate meetings, whatever, call us, because being a host is it's a skill, it's an expertise, it's an art, and me and Belik have that skill. We're here, we are ready to share that with you all, and we're actually going to formalize this, and we'll share more about that soon.
Nikki, just let me tell you that when you were going through the different target audiences, really everyone right now, the world is going back to normal, which is very nice to see. But a lot of people are not going to be flying for meetings anymore. They're going to do it remotely. Right. A lot of people don't know how to hold meetings online, how to present properly, how to engage those you're presenting to in the right way to get them to jump on board. Yeah. Any big events or conferences or summits, all these things that are happening online, there are very little people, not literally, there's a small amount of people that can do this properly, that can get what it is that is desired from both the audience and the organizers, if you know what I mean. So I'm really excited to step this up because you recognize there's a need, you recognize your talent. We spoke about this in the early minutes of our interview. Just following what feels right to you. Listen, your story is not regular either. Like you grew up in LA, I know this, and I think in LA, right? You grew up in LA.
I spent some time in LA, but I kind of bounced around all over the world. I lived in
Got it.
Texas, I lived in Singapore, I lived in Bolivia, I lived in DC. I'm
There
just
you
like
go.
you,
Love
Belik,
it.
also a globetrotter.
I know. Yeah. So a lot of people will say, we spoke about this in the beginning, like you need to settle, you need to do what is expected of you. But just by doing that, you're not going to find yourself mastering Zoom or becoming an
Right.
MC host. Like that just doesn't happen. So I'm glad that we're both following our own ways, even if it takes us upstream and
Right.
it's hard.
Right.
It's still very, very. Oh, I had this interview years ago when I just started,
Uh-huh.
and I got questioned. The question was something like, "How does it feel to go against the stream?" Something like that.
Mm.
Because
Mm.
I mean, I grew up in Israel, and I do a lot of things that the Israeli narrative would not find very. They wouldn't empathize with when it comes to like the status quo between Israel and Palestine
Interesting.
and all that stuff. Yes, I've been involved in a lot of things that sort of promote more tolerance and more empathy and understanding towards Palestinians and the oppression they're going through and the experiences. And and then I decided I'm moving to Morocco of all countries, to learn how to make videos. So there I am as a Jew who grew up in Israel, living in a Muslim Arab nation that is supposedly hates us, which is whatever. And I was asked like, how does it feel to go against the stream? And my answer was something like, it's hard, right? Going against the current. But when you go upstream, Nikki, you
Mm-hmm.
get to the top and then you have a fucking panoramic view and you can choose where you want to go.
Mm. 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 Preach, Velik, preach. And I think, everything that you've done, either content that you create, the way that you are able to put yourself out there and own your narrative, own your passion, and then share that with the world in all these diverse ways that you do it, all of that is really indicative of your journey of swimming upstream, right? No one gets to where you are right now without having a really hard uphill battle and
Mm,
then making it to the top. And then realizing that, okay, now you're at the top of this. I want to get to the top of that stream over there. So you keep going up, right? You go up, you peak, and then you go up again, then you go up again, then you go up again. It continues on and on. And I think and I want to ask you a little bit more about your content creation journey in
mm.
particular, because what you're doing right now with your series on Instagram and on TikTok, It's Me Dad, is really incredible. I have seen nothing like it before. I have never seen, someone who is making these tremendous videos for their daughter, for their child who's soon to be born, before the fact, including the family, including your partner, including your partner's families, and it's just like, it's this really incredible series. And I've read a couple interviews that you've given on It's Me Dad about, how you're not doing it for likes or for anything. You're actually doing it in order to be able to share something with your child, with your family. It's a legacy project, literally. So talk to me a little bit more about maybe how your content creation journey started initially, and
Mm.
then how you've gotten to this point now with this incredible series, It's Me Dad.
All right. Okay. So I'll start off by, I just want to thank everyone that's like tuning in. Does it usually happen that you have all these love things going up in a live? This feels
Yes.
nice.
Yes, right? There's so much love. Like,
It's
people
so,
just
so
like
nice.
it. They give us all the hearts.
Thank you, Donna and Andrea, and everyone who's tuning in, who's watching this. I appreciate it. Okay, so look, I traveled the world since 2012. 2012, I decided I'm traveling around the world by myself, solo, for a year and a half. And I went to like 30 different countries and learned Spanish because I lived in South America by myself. And I collected all these stories and I wrote a blog with, I probably had like an average of 7 readers because no one likes to read. A lot of people don't like to read. But
Okay.
I kept doing this daily. No, it wasn't a daily journal. It was a journal about every place I went to, whether I'd stay there for a day or I stayed there for 5. I would talk about my experience as a way to keep my own memoir. And I added some photos. Back in the day, you didn't really have nice cameras, 2012.
Mm.
So I took photos and sometimes videos, and I collected them. And then when I went back to Israel, and my friends, I would tell them stories, and they're like, "Shut up, that didn't happen to you." And I'm like, I promise, like all these things happen. And look, I have a blog, and they're like, "We're not gonna read it because it's words. Make videos." They tell me in 2013, make videos. And I'm like,
Mm.
I don't know. I'm
Mm.
not creative, and no one's gonna really want to watch stories that I tell. Like it's just not. And I didn't for years. I didn't. And every day there's a story. Nikki, you know this. And anyone
Mm.
who's watching
Mm.
right now, I hope you you recognize that every day holds a story, if not more. The question is, how do you look at the experiences that are happening around you and put them together in a nice way? Like, think about this. You go, no, a regular person goes to work, comes back home, and that person's partner or child or whatever say, hey, how was your day? And then that person says something, and that's a story in itself. Don't underestimate what you've experienced, right? How do you frame it in a way that creates relatability and sympathy from another side or from a stranger? That's a discussion we can talk about in my second workshop that I'm doing in the Nest Academy. Talk about it in a moment. But to answer your question of content creation, so I was like, no videos, no videos, no videos. Then I saw Nas Daily, then I saw some others, and I was like, okay, I can do it. I can do this. So I started making videos in Morocco. Then I traveled to West Africa by myself without knowing how to speak French. And I was like, I'm going to make videos here of my journey and how hard it is, because I believe that we grow most when we're in our stretch zone, not panic zone, not comfort zone, but stretch zone. So I feel uncomfortable, but I'm learning and growing. And then my comfort zone keeps growing bigger and bigger. So I would say that my personal comfort zone is most likely larger than most people's comfort zone, if that makes sense, because I've had more experiences, which is why I love to travel and explore new things, new people, new places. So 2019, I started making videos under Borderless Belik because I see myself as a borderless person. And I just told the stories. It was a really cumbersome storytelling experience. I don't recommend this to anyone, because I would record for an entire week, like shoot, all these things. And then I'd sit down, because every 2 weeks I'd make a video. I'd be like, okay, I'm making a video. And I would look through, Nikki, all my footage and then think of what's the storyline. I have 4 different days, 7 different people. What's the story? It's so hard. It was so hard. And so anyway, I did that time and time again. I made like 6, 7 videos, and they became, they were nice. They looked good. And then I went to Alaska to fish salmon. Fishing salmon in Alaska in 2019. And I made a video, 6-minute video about what's the process like of fishing salmon. Now I'm a vegan, and I knew I would be a vegan. At the time, I was still pescatarian. And I wanted to understand what happens in this industry. It is so easy nowadays to go to the supermarket and buy a beautiful fillet of salmon. What happened? How did that salmon get to my plate? No one knows to answer that question. Even the people that live near those fishing plants and factories, they don't know what's the process of actually fishing a fish. So I went there and I worked for the entire summer, learning the whole experience, actually doing the fishing and driving the boat, and like whales and dolphins and all these things happening around. Amazing experience. Posted this video. The place that I was in, Kodiak, Alaska, the local press, I was on the first page. Okay, like this Israeli filmmaker is making a video about the straight, which was cute. And then I was moving towards other videos, like how can I make shorter videos? How can I encapsulate smaller tidbit things that are happening in my life? I joined Nest Academy, stopped making content because we were always grinding to build and scale this academy. And after a year of being the head of trainers, you know, recruiting and training and managing all these amazing content creators from around the world, which I'm so lucky to have had that opportunity, I said, enough. I want to create content. So I started making shorter content for the academy as advertisements, etc. And now I have finally, I feel like I'm doing 100% me and what's right. And it hasn't felt that way. It hasn't felt that way throughout all of my videos. I never had a moment where I'm like, yes, this is really me. But when I speak to my child and I look at the lens, it doesn't matter what's happening around and who's trying to distract me. I'm literally having a moment where I'm telling my child a story, like every parent, I believe, does.
Right.
And creating, it's like what's it called? A not-based boot camp. I think of it sometimes as a boot camp, because beyond the daily stories, as I said, there's always something that goes on. So I have my phone, I record from my phone, I know how to take good videos, and then I do a speaking shot, longer portion where I tell the story, and then I cut it up when I edit and make it wholesome and short and digestible. But always I try to give something that can help my child overcome, deal, experience, grow in some scope of their lives. Not just entertainment, but something else, which is like a boot camp, I think, because sometimes I find myself, I don't know if you do this to your own content, but you know, you're kind of like scrolling through your content, like, this was a nice message. That was a nice video. Like, good job there, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
And I can't wait for my child to watch this and be like, fuck, I learned so many things in 6 minutes. Thanks, Dad.
Oh, oh, that is so sweet. And I think like the way that you film it, it's so personable, it's so interactive. Like, we feel like you're speaking to all of us, even though we're not your, your child who's coming soon, right? We feel like you're truly speaking to us. We're taking those life lessons too, even though, we're not your child who's soon to be born. I think that's what's so magical about this video series and even your vulnerability. Like I watched one of your videos that you posted recently about, a day that you were sick and how your family took care of you when you were sick, even though you were vomiting and, all these other things were
Pooping my
happening.
pants. I
Pooping
said
your
I
pants.
pooped my pants on Instagram.
I know. I wasn't going to say it here on the live, but since you
Yeah,
said
for
it.
sure.
And like it was just such a raw, vulnerable, and honest story. And I think that's the type of content that, people want to see. And even for me, I don't have any kids right now, but I probably will one day. And I will think back to your stories and be like, okay, I remember when Belik was so vulnerable and so honest with his own child about this before she was even here. And then I'm going to try and emulate that. So it's incredible.
Well, thank you for that. I want to say a couple of things
Yeah.
in regards to these comments. The first one is that, what's the first one? I have a couple. Okay. I'll say that I may not have the most followers in the world. That's a fact. Okay. But no, I mean, it's important to say because a lot of content creators are really, and I do care about who's watching and the following and all that, but it's not my number one. It's not my number one incentive, right? It's a nice thing to have. But then when I hear comments like what you said, like what Sai messages me, and Pavel, Curious Pavel, another trainer who's also expecting a child, and James, who's expecting a child, and all these other people from around the world, the impact that my video has on people on the long term is significant and worth I'm so proud of that. I don't need a million views because I feel that I'm able to impact. And like you said, you're going to have a child and you're going to think about my videos to my child and that may inspire you to do something similar. Fuck yeah. Like that's what it's about.
Right.
It's about,
right.
It's about inspiring people to be more vulnerable and be more truthful to themselves so that they can serve as an inspiration to their children. Because that's what we do.
Exactly. And this to me, Belik, goes back to what you were talking about at the beginning of this interview about how you just want to be paid to be you, right? Your most authentic self, just doing every single day what brings you joy, what fulfills you, what you're passionate about, whether that's making videos for your daughter or hosting a dynamic Zoom room or, whatever that may be. And I feel so similarly here with my Instagram live show. I also don't have a ton of followers here on Instagram, but if one person tunes in, if one person is inspired by a conversation that I have with a guest or a statement that you as my guest have shared today, if one person learns something new from this hour-long live show, then for me, that's success. And I feel like I've been successful, doing that. And to see, for example, I had one guest on the show from Papua New Guinea, okay, which is one of the most random countries in the world. Let's be straight up. It is a random fucking country out in the middle of the Pacific, like next to Australia, next to Indonesia. And, and she was my special 6-month anniversary guest, also didn't have a huge following, but she had entered a competition and she won and she came on the show. And since coming on my live show, she has, oh my God, she literally just signed on right now, Conscious Kumo. That's literally her. And she has, you see, you can't make this shit up. This is literally manifesting in the moment. But since she came on my live show, she has now since started her own Instagram live show, interviewing different people around Papua New Guinea. I mean, that's actual change in the making, which is incredible. And so, it's just it's you just never know who's going to be inspired by your content. And that's what we as content creators do. We just put it out there in the world and whoever needs to see it will see it.
100%. And you have, we have 10 people. We have 10 people watching us live right now, which may seem so insignificant as a content creator. But it's fucking 10 people. 10 people who are choosing to invest their time because they want to hear what you have to say, Nikki, who are inspired by the consistency and the persistence and how passionate you are. It's just that's what my videos remind me of. That even if I have a video with, I mean, this may be Now it's much better, much better. You see how I'm saying? Because I'm so oriented towards views. Oh, I hate this. But like the minimum amount of views right now is 2,000. 2,000, and I only have 2,700 followers. But that means that on average, almost all my followers watch the video.
Right.
There are
Right.
2,000 people who watch my video. That's a fucking huge amount of people. And for each video,
Right.
I have a couple of people that I've impacted and inspired. Oh my goodness, this is great. You know, that's what I want to keep doing. Nikki, I'm going to get my charger, okay, because my
Yes,
phone's
go
going to
do
die.
it.
So
Go do it. We've got
entertain
15
the
minutes
folks,
left.
and I'll be back in a short while.
I certainly will. I certainly will. So while our host, our guest here today, Borderless Belik, is off getting his phone charger, I just want to remind all of you of two things. Make sure you're following me on Instagram at They Call Me Bands. Make sure you're following Belik at borderless.belik. If you go to the top of your screen where it says Nikki Banz Live, click on the little arrow, click where it says Nikki Banz Live, and you can follow both of us. So do that right now. So you can watch all these amazing videos that he's producing and publishing right now to his daughter. You can follow all my content. You can see me go live every single Tuesday. And also, since we have about 10 minutes left of the show, what we can do now is throw it over to the audience for some audience questions. And I saw that our fabulous friend Dana has already asked one question. So, you know,
What did Dana
if you're
ask?
here right now, yes. Oh, I'll tell you in 1 second. Let me make sure I know that. Let me make sure I share that folks know how to ask questions, right? So go to the bottom of your screen, go to that little thought bubble with the question mark in it, click on that, and then you will be able to type in questions. I'll be able to see them. Sometimes if you type it in the comment section, sometimes it goes too fast. I can't see it, you know. So yeah, so go ahead and ask your questions there with the little thought bubble with the question mark in it, and I will go ahead and ask all those questions to Belik. So there's one question in there already, but before I get to that, Belik, I'll give it like maybe a couple minutes for some other folks to ask some questions. But I would love to hear from you, you know, like what's on the horizon? What's coming up next? You've already mentioned that you might have another class at Knowledge Academy coming out. You've already mentioned that there's some other things in the mix. So also like your daughter, I believe, is going to be born very soon. So what are some of the things that are on the horizon? Tell us. Good.
And you're also kind of leading into Donna's question about what's happening after baby. But I won't answer that verbatim just yet. So like a couple of big updates is one, we bought a shuttle bus. My partner and I bought a 25-foot shuttle bus.
Wow.
So I think that my time is going to be spent over the next 6 months, the 6 months of my child's life, the first one, is to both help raise the child, of course, and build our new home on wheels, which we plan on traveling and living throughout the Americas for the first couple of years of our child's life. And thanks to COVID, yes, thanks to COVID, it is possible because both my partner and I have remote jobs. So we can do it from anywhere. And so that's going to be number one. Now, maybe to segue into Donna's question, actually, I'll get to it in a moment because it does connect. But with the NAS Academy, look, I told you about my videos that I feel very truthful to myself. And I felt like, wow, I have a lot of things to share here that could improve other content creators, beginners and intermediates' journey into creating content. Like I've realized all these efficiency hacks and like how to just simplify processes. Every day it will take me 3 hours to make an entire video, meaning, you know, recording it and thinking of the story and recording it and editing it and posting it. Like that is super fucking fast to make a video on a daily basis. NAS Daily would take the entire day. I'm not saying my videos are better than his. It's not a competition, but like, I'm so happy that I've figured out a way to make this efficient. And so I'm really excited about teaching others these things that I've learned. So I'm starting a new course at the NAS Academy. It's another free workshop, which is going, the current name might need some changing, Nikki, but it's called How to Pick Up Your Content Creation Mic. And MIC stands for mindset, ideation, and consistency. And I talk about each one of those three. Okay. That's a course that I have already built, and it's going to be launched next month. So I'm excited about that. And then to answer Donna's question, I think there are more questions. Oh shit, there's a lot of questions. What the heck? There's 4 questions already.
Yes.
Hold on. Okay.
It's okay. Start with Donna's question, and then I'll go through the next ones.
Love it. Okay, so to answer Donna's, the idea is we have a shuttle bus. I part of me wants to continue. Is it sustainable? Can I do it? 100%. I could definitely do It's Me Dads for a long time. And an idea that I have, which you'll probably all give me hearts for because it's super cute, is to continue doing It's Me Dad videos until my child can say, hi, it's me, and its name. And then I like pass on. I pass on the role to our child. I don't know the gender yet. And then, you know, I could edit the videos for our child, and our child would star in them, right? That's an idea that I have for the longer term. Then there's Donna's writing about the shuttle bus. I could also, and I've been receiving comments from people, especially on TikTok, of like, thank you so much for being my dad role, like my dad in a way. Like they don't have dads, or their dads left them. I'm getting that kind of comments. Very powerful. So to continue making videos or change the angle into, hey, darling, like this is how you connect electricity. This is how you make coffee. I don't know, whatever. I'm just making things up. But the things that kids learn, I could be teaching them in an entertaining, fun way, which could be relevant to others, especially within the of a shuttle bus. Like this is a bolt, and this is a hammer, and this is this, and like this is how you do stuff. That could be interesting content as well. Don is saying, "Oh my God, yes, Franco's in the house."
Sure.
Nice. So I'm thinking about that, but then I feel like I'm taking a step back a bit, Nikki, of being true to myself, because I don't like to talk about hammers and nails. You know, I just like to talk about my day and the things that happen and beautiful moments with beautiful people. So that's another thing. And then another one would be, why don't I just do horizontal? I kind of want the crowd to tell me what's most you know, exciting to them, but what if I didn't fucking edit? What if I just put my phone horizontal with a nice background and I just spoke about something? Like, would people want to hear me tell stories in a more raw, less edited way? And we could build more of a relationship between the audience and myself without cut, super fast, you know? So those are some of my thoughts, but I definitely am going to continue making videos. And I would like to see It's Me Dad become a community as well. And I've started now to follow other dad kind of contents. And I've even created like a WhatsApp group of dads to be. It's called It's Us Dads. And you know, just sharing, creating a place for dads to really like embrace their fatherhood, because it happens in the mom's space 100%, but the dads might be a bit downplayed, may not feel confident. I think if a macho-ish guy sees me do It's Me Dad videos where I'm vulnerable, I think that changes something in their hearts, and they're like, oh, maybe I can do that as well. And so maybe my role there is to facilitate that space. But I don't know how to gain that traction. I don't know how, and if I have the capacity right now to build a community of sorts that is very natural for me and not what's the word? Architecture, like built in a specific way. Like I don't want to think too much. I just want to be me. It goes back to me. Like I just want to do me.
Right. Exactly. But I think you have so much potential there to foster that community of fathers and to foster, you know, a fatherhood collective of dads around the world who are invested and part of their child's lives and speaking to them before they're even born and setting them up for success, which is exactly what you're doing for your child. So, hey, put it out there into the world. You said it here now on Nikki Banz Live. It can now be manifested. You have said it, so it shall be. That's exactly how this works. So who knows? Maybe there's some other dads who are here on the live.
Even Franco's dad.
Your community soon.
Even Franco's dad, who's 75, is going to join. But Franco, how do you say "It's me, dad" in Italiano? È mio papà.
See, there you go. You're so international. You've got all the languages covered, all the fathers covered, no matter what language they speak, what background they have. So Belik, I wanna give you a chance to answer some of these other questions. We have about 5 minutes left on the live. And I'm here at the airport, so I will have to hop off in the next 5 minutes, which is so funny.
I'm reading the questions now. So we have a question from Sai about communication is a basic skill. How do you communicate in a way that you grab everyone's eyeballs? Any tricks? Yes, I would say Sai. You gotta be real. If you're not real, then people won't care. That's number one. You just go, hey, this Nasser, he's watching live. What's this? Hold on. You'll notice this person. Nasser, there he is. Do you see him? So he was a trainer, Nikki, at the NAS Academy. He lives in
Okay.
Canada, and he's visiting us because we're in Victoria, Canada. And so he's
Oh,
watching this live right now. Like
amazing.
he's literally watching the live. Okay. So
Aw.
communication. So be real. Be real. You got to make sure that you're constantly fluctuating your audio, right? Like it's got to be exciting. You got to feel like you're on a journey. Super important. And then another thing is, well, two. One is your own movement. We call it on-camera presence, right? But like, you're pretty you're calm and chillax right now. I'm moving a lot. Okay.
Yeah.
I think if both of us were like this right now, then it would be less exciting for people. So
Right.
I just move around a bit. And the last thing is look into people's eyes, which is counterintuitive because I'm not looking into your eyes right now, Nikki. I'm looking into the lens of my camera. But you feel
Right.
like I'm looking into your eyes, so you care to listen.
Yeah.
Because people want to be looked at. So those are my thoughts on Sai's question. Then Hamza says,
I love that question. I just want to give a really quick shout out to Sai, because Sai, amazing on the ground with Sai, was my guest here on NIKKI BANZ Live 2 weeks ago. So shout out to you, Sai. Always love having guests of the show who come and tune in for other guests. I saw Filipino pilot Cheska. I saw Durang and Tembe. We've got all sorts of former NIKKI BANZ Live guests coming on here today. So thank you, Sai, for your question and for being here. All right, Bella, go ahead and head over to Hamza's question.
by the way, today's It's Me Dad is about the NAS Academy trainers and our reunion. So that's a meaningful one. And you'll see yourself, Nikki, and Sai will see himself, and Donna will see herself. Okay, so next question is, what makes you show up to make videos on your bad days? I think the bad days are the most important ones. Like,
Yeah, literally.
Life is not a fucking bed of roses. And
Right.
I think that when you do show up, and I've received the feedback, videos where I was down or it was hard for me, people, it was memorable for people. And
Yes.
I think that shows extra commitment. Maybe just like you right now, not to say that flying and right now being in LAX is a bad thing, but it could have been more comfortable somewhere else with your sound effects, without vacuum machines, you know?
Literally. And I love that you said that, Belik, because so many content creators I know have said very similar things. You know, I had Michelle Carre here on the show, who's one of the top female YouTubers in the world, and she said something very similar. She was like, my audience wants to see that when I'm struggling. My audience wants to see when I'm down, and you have to share those moments, because that's you, right? If you truly want to be paid to just be you and just live your most authentic life, it's not all roses, it's not all rainbows all day every day. There are ups and there are downs. So showing that, I think, really builds that personal connection with the audience.
Very, very true. And to answer Andrea's her question is about burnout. I have not experienced burnout because I love what I'm doing. And that's why I said earlier, my other contents, I would feel that. I'd be like, I don't want to do this now. But when I know, A, that I can, B, that it won't take me too much time, C, the value of what I'm creating, then it's a no-brainer.
Yeah.
And that's what I talk about in this course, right? Picking up your content creation mic, like the consistency element and how to have the right mindset when you know what you're creating for. It makes the whole process so much easier. I think of one person, I talk about this in the course, I think about one person as my child. Like, I'm not speaking to you, Nikki, and I'm not speaking to Franco, and not to Andrea.
Right.
And that person will care about what I have to say, that one person. And that's what matters. And if anyone else wants to look in like a fly on the wall on my relationship with my child, they are more than welcome to. They take from it whatever they want and they move away. They take a step back, they come back, that's fine. But I'm not burnt out because I love what I'm doing. And that's why I believe right now I have those 3-4 hours a day. I believe I will still have them with a child, but I have the time. I love what I'm doing. I'm going to keep going. Question is, can this bring me money? Can this take me to that point of being paid to be myself? I believe the answer is yes. I haven't found out exactly the recipe for it.
Right. Well, soon come. I feel like the best part about content creation is just starting and putting yourself out there, because you never know who's watching. You never know who's going to watch this live interview. You never know who's going to get forwarded your It's Me Dad video. You have no idea who is out there viewing this content. And that could lead to the paid gig and the monetization and all the things that could come with just being your authentic self, sending these beautiful, sweet videos to your child. and then, you know, you actually being paid to continue to do that and just live that authentic life. So it's coming for you, Belik. I feel it.
I agree. Like, yes, because I'm following my passion, I believe I will get there. Question is, how long do I work for it? I'm not too worried
Well,
about it.
right, right. Teach classes at Nas Academy in the meantime to make sure that the bills are paid, you know, and then pivot if we have to.
Yeah, I mean, that's the course of life. I enjoy teaching. You all know, everyone who's watching knows how much I love teaching. So
Yes.
I'm not doing this because I have to. I like it a lot.
You
NIKKI
do.
BANZ, it's 12 o'clock.
I
It's 12
know, I
o'clock.
know. And I want to
Time to
just
wrap
finish.
things up.
Time to wrap things up, and I want to finish, Belik. You know, I always like to ask this question at the end of NIKKI BANZ Live to all of my guests, but you're here, you have a captive audience, so we want to know, as your friends, as your fans, as your followers, where, you know, plug all of your pages, plug all of your channels, and let us know how we can continue to support you.
Well, thank you for the opportunity. I really have 1.5 requests. The first half is to follow me. Okay, follow the journey. And the second one, the full one, is built on that half, which is I would love each one of you to send me an idea. Take 2 minutes and think, what could help Belik on his journey to get paid to be himself? And it would be cool to see if people's ideas are always awesome. Maybe one of them or two of them stick, because you get captivated in your own mindset. It's very hard to break away and look at a different angle. So I invite everyone to do 1.5 things. Follow me and send me an idea of how I could scale, you know, It's Me Dad and Borderless Belik. That would be a great gift and appreciation.
Oh my gosh, I love it. I love it. Everybody slide into Belik's DMs right after this live show ends with all your ideas. Sign up for his courses at Nas Academy. Follow him on Instagram. Do all the things so we can continue to support Belik in your journey. And honestly, thank you for coming on, Belik. I know we planned this very last minute, and you've just been such an amazing guest. And I knew that you would be, because you too are a host and an MC, and those are always the best people to interview. So thank you. This has been such a joy. It's my pleasure to have you on here, NIKKI BANZ Live. While I'm sitting at the airport at LAX, about to hop on a 16-hour flight. So thank you. This is like the perfect way to start my journey.
Fantastic. Yeah, I hope you're filled with the good vibes and energy you need for a long flight.
For sure, for sure. And the best of luck these next couple of days. I know that you and your wife are expecting very, very soon. We're all keeping you in our heart and in our prayers. So go shine, go slay, and we're so excited for you.
Thanks, NIKKI. Fantastic.
Amazing.
All right, safe travels.
Thank you.
Much
Bye,
love.
Belik.
Bye.
Bye, bye, bye. Goodbye, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in here to NIKKI BANZ Live. I do this every single Tuesday with your favorite actors, rappers, content creators, influencers from across the globe. This is NIKKI BANZ signing out live from LAX, Los Angeles International Airport. Ciao.